The development. Here is my story. I want to begin a journal to help me through this process. Separated with my wife the beginning of this year. Married 9 years and together for 14. We have 2 daughters, 6 and 3. When we met, we lived about an hour and a half away from each other, so we mostly saw each other on weekends. About 6 months into the relationship, I was offered a position in the Rocky Mountains. So, I moved from the East Coast and asked if she wanted to come along. She came and finished her master's degree while living with me. After 2 years I purposed and we moved back to the East Coast to get married, start a family. We moved close to where I could transfer my job. We bought a house, our first daughter was born. Things were going very well. After our second was born I believe we started to drift. We were both isolated a bit. Her family and friends were a couple of hours away and mine were not much closer. Our time was dedicated to our jobs and our daughters. A while ago she started to tell me that she was feeling sad. She basically was trying to tell me that I was emotionally unavailable. She had even asked me to go see a counselor, not because of anything that I did. She was trying to be delicate with me, but that something was wrong. I was prideful and didn't want to go. We would have long conversations where she was voicing her pain, but I couldn't understand it or voice my own emotions. I didn't know how to get them out. This continued for a while until we purchased a summer home where I thought we could afford it. She wanted to look in another location, but I thought I wasn't feasible financially. This broke it. She finally put her foot down and said we had to move closer to her job and family. I finally began to see how much I had controlled things and agreed. We put our home on the market and it sold quickly, so we had to find something to purchase. We also decided to see a marriage counselor. I began to see how I had not been open to her and took her for granted and took advantage of her giving personality. I was not hearing her. We were talking a lot more now, but the damage was done. We only went to 2 sessions though and she had enough. Her pain was too much and she wanted to separate. She purchased a small home and I'm currently living at the vacation property a long way from anything I've known. I'm working remotely and pretty much isolated. My job is still relatively close to her and on Fridays I drive up to work in the office and she drops our daughters off so I can take them for the weekend. But on Sundays I drive up to her place to take the girls home and actually stay overnight so I can take them to school on Monday morning and then work at the office before driving home. We are on very good terms, we talk and text a lot. She says I'm her most important person. She has even said that you're my everything. She just has to make herself happy and does not want a relationship. She just wants to be single. I understand this from our history, I just love her so. I don't know how to deal with the loss. I am trying to do more things for myself. Starting to go to the gym, read and reflect, but I can't shake my shame and regret over my own actions. I believe there is currently an emotional affair. One thing about my wife is that she's very honest. There have been some friends she's been leaning on but nothing physical. She has stated that right now she can't trust any man to place her needs first and she doesn't want to give anyone a piece of herself. I know it may sound naive, but she has been very honest with me, sometimes so much so it can hurt. I have started to see a counselor. Second apt is tomorrow. Pretty standard stuff so far. Focus on my communication and start working out, etc. It helps, but the demons in the evenings while lying in bed are vicious. This past weekend was a rough few days. I took the girls up to my family and they helped immensely. Really helped to have a good time with my daughters. But just last night, took them over to my wife's and of course we spoke at length again. She has helped me gain insights into our relationship, but there is obviously pain she isn't even remotely over. It's all so strange. We even slept beside each other in her bed, nothing physical other than some holding. I can understand the need for the 180, but it's going to be a very hard thing to work through. My counseling session was very helpful in establishing guidelines and goals for myself. Her direction was to focus on empathy and showing my wife that I'm able to communicate and give her love, understanding without expecting anything in return. I think this is healthy but very difficult. Our conversations over the last few days seem a bit more distant and focused on money, logistics. I offer words of affirmation and I know I should not focus on any reciprocated words, but it's still hard not getting any. I also find it strange that I'm not as overwhelmed with the sadness. In a weird way, it concerns me. I know I still have affection and want to are with my wife, but I feel the distance growing. Such a roller coaster ride. Rough day today. No self-confidence. Feel so isolated down here and it's going to take so long to sell and close on a new house. Spoke with her briefly about some things with the kids and somehow got into the relationship again. She just has no desire to reconcile and work on our marriage. Said she is tired of working. She tried already. This shall pass I suppose, but I'm just getting tired. Not even close to getting control over my emotions. She called this morning to speak with the girls and she seemed so happy and brief with me. I did to say anything dumb, but these emotions still just fall on me like a waterfall. Grit teeth and get through it. She's always been really good at appearing happy even when something is bothering her. I know my own emotions and expectations are changing because this is the first evening I'm not looking forward to going over there this evening. Can't really afford a hotel, so going to sleep in the girls' room. Just not sure I have the strength to fight for this marriage. She is obviously not too interested in working on things right now, but I want my marriage back. Speaking with my counselor, she felt I should fight because I do still want my marriage and love this woman. I'm having a hard time finding the inner strength when I have to interact with her because of the girls or whatever comes up. I wish I knew which path was right for us. This weekend it's really struck me how destructive it is to worry about what she's doing. I've been holding back on reaching out to her this weekend and only called to talk about logistics with the girls. So hard to leave it at that. I want to talk to her. I don't even know about what. So much has been said already, but I also now recognize the high people speak of and then the crash afterwards. This sucks. I do feel like I'm moving on, but every time I speak or see her, my emotions take some giant leaps backward. Have to go up there to drop the girls off tonight. This is going to be hard. Our relationship is so odd. We both care about each other so much, no verbal abuse and no big blow-ups. I simply was emotionally cold and she didn't communicate her needs. She became too isolated and sought other avenues of attention, and feels were too different. Last night ended up speaking way too much, but I finally knew it was too much. Said I loved her, wanted my wife back, and I understand her desire for space, and left to stay with a friend. After I left, she sent some text about regret and how she's a useless wife right now, as well as some friendly text this morning. I'm not sure if she's simply trying to comfort me or actually wants to talk. So, confused over all this, I did respond to her text, and then they continued into Monday and Tuesday. Of course, then had a setback last night while speaking about weekend logistics over the phone and a ski day out together on Friday. My counselor has been working with me to show her the care and affection that I didn't provide during the marriage and help her heal. She isn't recommending shutting off contact at all, but try to open up new avenues, all while still focusing and improving myself and not to focus on what she's doing. This is a hard balance, and fear simply takes hold of me, constantly second-guessing things because I'm afraid how she'll react. This is yet another thing I'm trying to work on. What is there to fear? She's already has ended it, but yet doesn't want to start divorce proceedings. These emotional setbacks make it hard to keep up the fight to show her affection and not just totally throw in the towel and stop speaking to her. How she can just want to do things as friends and not be affected by being that close to me blows my mind. I also look at it like that it's an opportunity to communicate. I just don't understand her. She's getting asked some hard questions from my daughter and some of her family, and she's still sticking by her decision. Just makes me think she means business with this separation, not that she's ever said anything different. Just the way she acts sometimes that it's hard to believe we're done. I have to find the balance. I know she was trying to do things to work on it, but it didn't get through. She kept trying from the same tack though, just banging her head time and time again. We just were not connecting. Such misplaced energy on both sides. We took our oldest daughter skiing on Friday and had an amazing day. We talked, embraced, and kissed each other. I can't even describe the day. On Saturday the girls had a sleepover, so I sent a message asking if she'd like to get a drink as I was in the area. This never happens anymore, around the same area without the girls. She just said that Friday was amazing, but she wasn't ready to go any further, and that was it. The rest of the weekend, no contact from her. It seems she wants to talk through the week, but as soon as the weekend comes, nothing. Unless it's about the girls. I know it all takes time, but it feels so cold, and when she does call about the girls it just hurts. I can't take hearing her voice. It brings up such strong emotions. I know the lumber will come out to say stop all contact. Well, right now I feel like talking with her has made progress in our communication. I know I can only do this so much longer though. I hope at some point my head and heart agree one way or the other and I can have peace. Trying so hard to let go. Not to care what she does, but as soon as I hear her voice I just melt and can't hold myself together. Our chemistry was amazing. Still having a hard time getting my focus off of her. Hope this house sells soon so I can get back home and have my daughters more, as well as actually be near some friends. Don't think I'm ready to stick my neck out again just yet. Trying not to react out of fear, but I need a bit of a breather. We were living together 14 years and married 9. She feels no pressure. I don't want to play power games, but can't be a doormat either. I don't think she's even thinking about it that deeply. She's not trying to play games but thinking only of herself. Went to IC today and she's in agreement that it's time to pull back and focus completely on myself. My STBX has not moved at all in her stance and I can't bang my head on that wall any longer. Just have to draw a line and protect that boundary. She did a lot of things that she thought would make me happy. She was trying so hard to please me without actually asking me what I needed. She was communicating her love in one way and I was doing it in another. Neither found its way and she snapped. Maybe time can heal those past issues, but I know I've made progress even from just a few months ago. Honestly, her leaving and some work with my counselor seemed to flip the switch and I could see my mistakes like never before. But now it's too late. She's hardened her stance. She's still very open and friendly, which seems to only throw me for a loop. I'm just not strong enough to go from married, sharing everything, to wanting to be friends with someone. Been a good couple of days, focusing mostly on myself and working through my sadness, grief, not what she's doing. She's dropping the girls off tomorrow at work. Need to man up so I don't backslide by just seeing her. I have a hard time not acting cold just because it pains me to see her while we're split. She always thinks I'm upset with her. Have to work on the cool, happy face. I guess I deeply want to work on relationship and myself in small ways. One of the problems between us was that I showed a lot of my frustration on my sleeve, even though it mostly didn't involve anything she did, and she thought I was always upset with her, not good enough. So, it isn't a one-to-one comparison in this case because I am sad with our situation. I do love this woman, so I guess I see it as a change for our relationship and myself. Acting pissed off doesn't really help anything, her or for me. Every way I reacted to a situation was internalized by her and caused pain. I didn't even know it was happening until it was too late. She thought her love and her need to comfort me should calm every situation, and when that didn't happen, she felt betrayal. Read a little on communication, love styles, and she's very much about affirmations and quality time. I was totally oblivious. I've learned more about her these past 2 months than the time we were married. Sad, but true. For the record, there have been times I messed up royally and was not much of a communicator when she was trying to tell me what was wrong. But there was never a question of my devotion. Have to see what the journey brings. Got a blast email from my daughter's teacher about some recent events, and at the bottom it had an inquiry from my wife about a babysitter because she has an evening function at work. Very innocent, yet it triggered a wave of anxiety, panic. Don't know how to describe it. She's doing things on her own, doesn't need me, etc. Damn, if I can't handle that, how am I getting through all this? The moment is over but scares the hell out of me. Been a horrible morning for no good reason. I miss my wife. Starting to get easier to detach myself. It's been one day, so we'll see about his. If someone wants to pull themselves away from me in such an extreme way, well, I'm not wringing my hands anymore. I know I'm a great father and a great person. I may not have moved my heart on from my wife, but I will walk on. I am not ready for other people, but I know that I have great things to offer someone. I will survive. Just another thing. She suspended her Facebook account, so now when I look at old posts she is completely gone. You can see something was there, her comments, whatever it was. So symbolic. In a strange way it helps. Hard weekend. Had a great time with my girls, but as soon as I saw her when I dropped them off, I lose all the progress I've made. Just seeing her triggers all these emotions and reverting back to worrying about what she's been doing. I don't know how to stop this vicious cycle. She is getting more defensive lately. Her parents want to come down during the Easter weekend to see the home, but I don't think I can spend the weekend with the WS. I told her that it doesn't feel right because she doesn't want to spend time with me. This set her off. She said I was putting words in her mouth, that she wanted to go skiing with me. That was like 2 weeks ago. I actually apologized for assuming and putting words in her mouth, but looking back I still think her actions are speaking louder than words. She doesn't call or text anymore. I see no desire at communicating. Why does she get mad when I bring it up? She said she looks forward to seeing me. When she said this, I couldn't believe it. I repeated it out of disbelief and she thought I was mocking her. I just honestly didn't believe it. Got to try focusing on work today. Spending way too much energy on this small but interesting event last night. Just as I turned off the light last night, the phone rings. She was calling just to say hi. First time that has ever happened. Well, guess you could bust out the lumber, but we spoke for a while. She started off really happy to speak but started to get upset by all the same old stuff. I know I should have just ended it right there, but this woman has such a hold on me. Anyway, we hung up and she just seemed angry. To make matters better or worse, this uneasiness bothered me and I called her this morning. Was actually an interesting conversation this time. She mentioned she wasn't angry with me now but with me from the past couple years. She sees a lot of progress, etc. Turns out the guys she had been hanging out with and texting got pissed off that she would not advance with them and always insisted she wanted to be friends. She said they acted like teenage girls throwing a fit and she didn't know how to handle it since she's always had been with me, calm and reserved. We spoke about how angry she was about all the stuff in the past and it's not making her any happier to be rehashing it. Said it may be good for her to go to counseling herself. Who knows what will happen, but it was interesting to see some cracks. I'm seeing that I have to be happy. I hope she changes her mind, but I clearly see I have to limit my exposure to her because it only causes pain. I hope that I could spend time with her to help repair our relationship and show her progress, but I can't do it. I want to be happy and I want to be with her, but here is only one thing there I can control. Still having a hard time fully letting go. I still feel so attached to this woman. I've cut down on a lot of my exposure and conversations with her, yet every time I hear her voice and drop the kids off I feel like a spell comes over me where she could do or say almost anything she wants. I am getting much better with it, but the emotion is still strong. Yes, it simply takes time and effort, but it still cuts like a knife. I really miss the tactile connection of my ring. Has any man here got a ring to represent their connection with their kids? Been thinking of trying to fill that void with my daughter's connection, but have never really seen anything like that. No contact hasn't been going too well, but my reaction to it has definitely changed. She often texts or calls about friendly updates with the girls. It seems awfully sweet at first, but then I notice the emotions that causes and keep it short or have stopped picking up the phone. However, the one thing messing with me is that there are times she calls me when she's overstressed, crying about some issue like getting locked out of the house or problems at work. When I answer the phone and she's sobbing, there is just no way I'm going to hang up with her. I sympathize and help her the best I can. She says I'm helping a lot, but then has to get in a dig to the past. This is the way I need a man to speak to me. Why didn't you before? As well, she thinks the distance helps me be better at this. What the hell, can't win. And I can't believe I've done this, but I've actually said I'm sorry for not being there to help. Good Lord, don't know why I say that. I'm sad and pissed off I'm not there. I'm starting to get angry. Angry that she talks about tough weeks and being depressed during the weekends without the girls. Angry she has put us both through incredibly tough situations. Yet she says she still loves me, etc. Starting to get upset with her over this. The dependence is fading fast but is getting replaced with pain I've never felt towards her. She may be sorry, but I think she's getting what she wanted, me to move on. Now I don't care what she's doing. I'm just angry with what's been done and the fact that she still wants to use me for support. This is the first time I have been thinking of filing. Once I get this house sold and moved back in town with the girls, I will be looking at that. Only thing I want to see from her is an effort to work on the marriage or stuff about the girls. I don't need this friend and need crap. So sad right now. Packing up the girls for the drive to the WS. This is the hardest it's been. I miss them so. It's hard chasing them all weekend by myself, but so rewarding. Sucks. Last weekend I was in a pretty dark place. When I dropped the girls off, I helped get them ready for bed and promptly left. I thought I was courteous enough but didn't stick around to talk. On the way to my friend's to stay the night, she kept calling me. On the third or fourth time I accidentally hit the button, the steering wheel, to answer the call. She asked, "What the H was that?" She thought I was being cold with her. I could only ask, "What do you want from me?" Unfortunately, this turned into a big step backwards where we spoke quite a bit and really ended up nowhere again. So, throughout this week I've done well sticking to boundaries, and with my counselor came up with a great response that hits true to my heart when she gets into things like this. Are we working on our marriage? If the answer is no, that's it. Nothing else to speak about. However, I guess I have a tough decision for this weekend. My daughters have a birthday party to go to this Sunday afternoon near her house. So, after the party she wants to make dinner for all of us. I know the girls would love it. I'm feeling confident from the week and feel I can stick to my boundaries, so I may do it. Here's to hoping I pass, if I go through with it, the test and walk out Sunday night with my head held high. This will be my biggest test yet. I am tired of words. She'll say something very sweet or say she'll do something but never follows through. She has transitioned to a survival mode for her own emotions. That is the one thing that has me the most concerned about this proposition. She likes a connection with me but doesn't want commitment. I cannot feed that. I may already know what my decision should be, but having a hard time getting my heart to agree. The added fruit of being with my children also makes it hard. Still in limbo over tomorrow evening. So far, a great weekend with the girls. All of a sudden there are people all over the beach towns. Yes, St. Pat's Day has everyone ready for drinking and the beach. I hope it won't be long till I get some offers on the house. Though it will be bittersweet. We bought this place for the girls to enjoy in the summer. I know I'm actually in a pretty good place overall. Just not where I want to be. I have been a pretty impatient person but working on finding my center. Happiness will come with time. I'm worth it. I keep getting friendly little texts from her but no real substance. Hi, have a great day, or just stuff about the kids like the girls smell pretty after their bath. What does this woman want from me? I honestly don't know whether to respond or not half the time. Sometimes I do, but usually in the same manner. Need help with an email. She sent me an email about Easter. Also, I wanted to cordially invite you to Easter lunch that day of Easter. The girls, my parents, and I would truly love for you to stay. I also completely understand you wanting to head out quick. So, I definitely can do it more as an earlier lunch so you can head back to home. Completely up to you, and you can also tell me last minute. Respond with a simple and short, "Thanks, but I can't stay." As much as I'd love to spend time with my wife and girls, I just don't think I can be friends. An update. I know this story isn't very interesting. I have a hard time processing my situation into words. No crazy fights, infidelity, just confusion. My WS has been reaching out through calls and texts to talk about stuff with the kids, but when that has worked out, we speak like friends. She even brings up a few happy moments from the past. It seems to be getting more positive, not many moments where she gets stuck on things that make her upset. I started to run and work out more, and she is really interested in this. She really got into running a few years ago, and now she says she wants to go running with me. I know this is putting my head in a strange spot. I still feel connected to her, but I'm not sure if that's good or bad. We get along really well, but she feels she is still recuperating. We're speaking much more openly about things than ever, but there is still no commitment or even a hint that she may want to work on the relationship. That seems to say that I really need to cut everything off, but there does seem to be some positive signs. I just don't know. Funny side note, the townhome next to her has come up for sale and she wants me to buy it, and she's serious. Just strange. I could never live right next to her, but why would she want to? On the downward side of my confidence wave. Sometimes it just feels hopeless. I'm sure it will pass, but just feeling down tonight. Better to post it here than show it to her. I'm getting really frustrated with my living kids situation. I have the kids every weekend since it's the only time I can see them, so she has every weekend free. She's been going camping and skiing with friends, simply having a great time doing things we used to do before kids took over the itinerary. I am not going to give up what time I have with the kids, but she must be loving this. I've gone through this a bunch of times and can't come up with anything until this house is sold. Just hoping I'm building some good karma. I am going crazy tonight. No end in sight. I love time with my girls, but can't get her running around free all weekend out of my mind. New town, no friends, and constant work. I don't know how much more I can do this. Must be making some kind of progress. I actually think I can be fairly detached while dropping the girls off tonight. I guess I've been through these roller coasters enough to understand what I was getting upset about and why. Now I'm just numb. What else can she do to me at this point? May have a date on Tuesday, but that's a whole other can of worms. Not entirely sure I should be going on it, but she seems really sweet and I just see as some time out and practice in a sense. I know what it is. I'm not looking for anything from her. I believe every other time I had been hoping for some kind of emotional bone from her. I honestly can't make sense of anything at this point. I didn't mention it before, but the end of last week I get a Facebook friend invite from her. I have ignored it so far. So, Sunday night, I drop off the girls coolly and confident. No mopping or bitterness. Play with the girls a little bit, and my youngest asks, "Is Brian coming over?" Wow. Then she says, "He found my egg for me." I quickly kiss the girls and leave. Text her on my way out that I am not okay with introducing the girls to significant others without my knowledge. She calls and says he is just a friend and they only saw him at a community Easter hunt. Says it would be no different than if I took the girls over to my best friend for Easter. I'm not okay with that. This person has a history of an emotional affair with you while we were together, and he freaked out when you didn't want to take the relationship further. She said she could understand, but she doesn't want anything, and assured me he didn't want anything anymore. I cannot believe the ignorance of her sometimes. Of course, he said he just wants to be friends. She threatened to cut him off completely if he didn't. So, then Monday morning I wake up to texts asking me if we could split a trip to Disney with the girls. What the hell? I then get a call about it. Weak moment alert. I told her that I didn't think I could spend a week in a small hotel with her without getting attached and wouldn't be able to keep my hands off of her. Her response was something like, "We always had great vacations and physical relationship. Whatever happens, happens. I just don't want a relationship. Relationships have never worked out for me." So, 14 years just didn't work out. Good Lord. Later in the day she invites me to come up later in the month for a Girl Scout event with her daughter, then dinner and stay the night. No mention of sleeping arrangements. So, let's be Facebook friends, live next to each other, and take a cool vacation with possible benefits. Head spinning. Will take a while to work this one out. Messing everything up. I had to go over to my ex's house to watch my daughter while she's homesick. I saw some things by the computer that really upset me. She had a shopping receipt for $600 from the other week. This was just after she asked for a loan from me. So, I feel ashamed, but I opened her Facebook account. She was speaking to her friends about all the different guys she has been dating. I snapped. I called her and confronted her and out the money and guys. She said she returned most of the stuff, whatever. For the guys, she said no bonding and no steady relationship. Besides, we're separated. I felt like a fool. We had our close moments through this whole thing. But now she said she's freaking out about trusting me, etc. I feel bad about every single part of this. Mine and hers. Rough day. I have been waiting to get this house sold and to get settled with my daughters before focusing on D. She doesn't want to file. Says she doesn't need it. She sees the separation as a divorce without the paperwork, I guess. What a damn mess. Well, it looks like I got played from the outside, but it's a twisted journey. We sold our family home but still have this vacation house. Both our names are on the vacation house and she bought her own. I can work remotely, she cannot, so I'm the fool living down here until we sell it. I believe it will sell in the next couple of months as the beach scene heats up, as it's priced aggressively. She is a very sweet girl. I feel like I messed this up. She isn't keeping any records and doesn't have any axe to grind. She's just not like that with anyone. She's obviously out when I have the kids on the weekend, but that's the only time I can see them right now. I also don't think she's plan B me. She's made it clear that she doesn't want to be in a relationship with me but wants to remain friends because we have the girls and still appreciate each other as people. I'm just destroyed that I messed up such a good thing with such a good person. I would avoid conversations for many different reasons. I was insecure and didn't know how to handle it. There are many things like that. They all led to this spot. This whole experience has made me more comfortable in finding my voice and speaking to her, but it's too late. You all will love this, but here is how the house stuff went down. We had been living in our family home for 7 years, and Pa, a few times she said she wanted to move to NJ. We looked at a few houses there a few years ago, but taxes were triple over there. I just couldn't swallow it, and the work I would have to do to sell was overwhelming. So, we stayed. Just last June we took a vacation to the shore and there were some amazing deals on bank props tires. We bought a house in Delaware. Again, she wanted to look in New Jersey for a few reasons. 1. Their gov created a bill where NJ employees have to live in the state she's grandfathered in, and that's where she's from. Again, I searched online and couldn't find anything manageable. So, she went along with the house, but this was what really broke her back. Once we closed, she said we have to at least move closer to NJ to make her commute easier. I never saw a resolve from her like that before, and by this time we had a okay of work done to our house. So, we listed the house. It sold quickly and started looking for homes in the new town. After looking at a few, she dropped the bomb. So, we sold the family house, split equity, and she bought her own. We couldn't afford 3 mortgages, so I had to move into the property since I could work remote. What a damn mess. I was so blind. Beautiful day on the beach with my girls. I have a lot of blessings but can only seem to focus on my faults or things lost. Still feel so damn alone, which is making hard to shift focus from pinning my happiness on her. At least I have a 2-week project starting this Monday that will be up in my home area. I'll be in a hotel, but at least I'll be working with friends. My comment, part 2 ending will be coming today, and will OP stop being a doormat? Let's see if OP file or wait to be served in the final ending. Subscribe and I will see you there.